Most people know that supplement plans are standardized across the country, meaning that if you get a Plan G in California, it will cover the same things as a Plan G in New York. Of course, there are a couple of states out there with exceptions to keep us on our toes, but for most of you, the coverage of these plans are standardized. However, this does not mean that the monthly cost to you is standardized. A Plan G in California does not cost the same as a Plan G in New York. Also, a Plan G in New York with one insurance company does not cost the same as a Plan G in New York with a different insurance company. So while the coverage is standardized nationwide, the costs most definitely are not. Now, we get questions all the time around how supplement plan premiums or rates change over time. Now, if you're looking for a supplement plan that has the same plan premium and the same rate that will not change for the rest of your life, I'm sorry that I have to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not going to find one of those anymore. Supplement plan costs will increase over your lifetime. How much they increase will depend on the type that you get. So allow me to explain the three arrangements out there and how they work. They are issue age, attained age, and community rated. Now, right off the bat, I'll tell you that I don't think one is better or worse than another. They each have their own pros and their own cons that I'll touch on, but know that this is all highly dependent upon where you live. And to understand how these three pricing structures work, we need to know the parties involved. The first party is the most important, and that is you. You play a role in the costs of your plans, which I'll explain. The second party is the insurance company that is offering these plans. And the third party is technically two parties, but we're going to bundle them into one here, and I'll clarify here in a minute. And that is a pool of the people that make up those covered by the same plan that you have. Okay, let's talk about supplement plans that are issue age first. Some states require plans to be issue age plans. These are less common than attained age, but to help clarify the differences, we're going to cover this one first. The parties involved are, of course, you, the insurance company, and then that pool of people with these plans. Now, issue age policies are determined by your age when you get the supplement plan. So let's say that Jane wants to get a supplement plan G with XYZ insurance company, and Jane is 65 years old. There is a price set by that insurance company for 65-year-olds, and that is the price that Jane pays. For this example, we'll say that it's $150 per month. Some insurance companies also consider male versus female rates and other family discounts if both spouses go with the same insurance company. So know that these come into play, but for our example, we are going to keep things simple. Now let's look at Joe. Joe goes on Medicare at 67, and there is a price set by the insurance company for 67-year-olds, and that is the price that Joe pays. In this fictional example, that price is $160. So why does Joe pay more than Jane? Well, because Joe is older. Here's where confusion comes into play. People think that since the policy rate is determined by your issue age when you first got the policy, that means that the costs are going to stay the same for the rest of your life. This is not the case. To better understand that, we need to bring in our third party, and that is the community or the pool of people. And for this example, the pool includes all of the other individuals that have the same supplement plan with that same insurance company. So in our case with Jane and Joe, it's XYZ insurance company with a plan G. Now, all throughout the year, the insurance company is receiving dollars from you every single month in the form of your monthly premiums. The insurance company is also receiving dollars from the community or the pool of other people in this plan who are paying their premiums. We'll put all of these dollars into a bucket. Now, all throughout the year, the dollars in that bucket are removed to pay for your healthcare costs that are covered by your plan, plus dollars to cover the costs for that pool of people on the same plan, plus the costs of doing business like employee salaries, supplies, rent, and a million other things, plus an actual dollar amount assigned to cover the cost of the risk insurance companies take on, plus any profit. Yes, insurance companies offering supplement plans are hoping to make a profit each year. These are not philanthropic organizations. Some may be nonprofit organizations, but they still have the costs of running a business to cover. Lastly, those healthcare costs that the insurance company pays to healthcare providers or healthcare facilities, it goes up with things like rising healthcare costs due to rising salaries or more expensive product costs and inflation and a bunch of other factors. So even with an issue age policy, at the end of the year, the insurance company looks at all of these dollars in minus the dollars out, and the insurance company will have an annual rate adjustment to make sure that they don't go out of business and that they don't lose money. Usually that is a small increase. Some years it may be a larger increase. Some years there may be no increase or a decrease, but in general, it is a small increase. Now, the semantics here are when the insurance company gives that increase. It is one potential annual increase that the insurance company gives to all individuals in that pool of people who are on that same plan that you have. Let's say that the increase is 3%. Everyone in the pool on that plan gets a 3% increase on whatever monthly premium that they were paying. One increase a year, that's a positive. In general, issue age plan premiums start higher than attained age premiums. This is a negative, but let's keep going. Moving on to attained age now. Attained age plan costs are also based on the age that you have attained. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? Unfortunately, there is some complexity here. Remember Jane and Joe? With attained age, let's go through that same scenario. Jane is 65. She wants a plan G. Her premium will be around $130. Joe is 67. He wants a plan G with the same insurance company. His premium will be around $140, higher again because he is older. So far, issue age and attained age are working the same way. Here's where things change. Attained age policies have the potential for 2 increases each year. One is that same annual increase that issue age policies get that are based around rising costs and inflation. And then the second increase that attained age policies have are on your birthday. We sarcastically refer to these as a happy birthday increase because when you go from 65 years old to 66 years old, you will get a little bump in premium costs. And again, when you go from 66 years old to 67 years old and every year after that. So attained age plans they don't always, but they can have 2 increases each year. That's a negative. Attained age plan premiums in general start lower than issue age plans. And because attained age plans are the most common form and they have more people in the pool of those covered, this means that the costs for the larger group of people is more predictable for those people who are smarter than I am that are called actuaries. They are able to be more precise around setting rates and keep increases a little bit more predictable and stable over time. So that's a positive. So before we move to the last arrangement, issue age is based on your age when you get the plan, increases once a year to account for rising healthcare costs and inflation. Attained age is based on the age when you get the plan as well, but increases twice a year potentially based on those rising healthcare costs, inflation, as well as your birthday and getting 1 year older. All right, community rated plans determine their premiums based on a geographical region. These are less common, but they look at your particular zip code or your region, and then they look at the general health of those in your region, and then they set those rates. So it's less based on your age and gender, more based on the health of your community, including whether or not you use tobacco. Increases here are happening in a similar way for the rising healthcare costs and inflation, but also how your community fares from a health perspective. If you live in a generally healthy community, you could see lower rates. That's a positive. If you live in a community with poor health, you could see higher rates, and that's a negative. These can fluctuate a little bit more because your community health can change dramatically and rather quickly, so that's a negative. So back to the point I made all the way back at the beginning. There isn't one that's inherently better or worse than the other. They all have advantages and disadvantages, and you may live in an area that only offers one type of arrangement here. So if you wanted a community-rated plan, you might not live in an area that offers those. So as we say with all of these, make sure that you're working with an independent agent who knows the plans available to you and can work with you to find what will make the most sense for you. If you have that person in your life, please use them. If you don't have that person in your life, I have included my email in the description here, and our team is always more than happy to help in any way that we can. Great job making it this far. If you're feeling generous today, please click that like button. And if you want to be in the loop of Medicare and Social Security, click that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.